What's up everyone, this is Killer VZ2, and today I'm going to be exploring the Hypogean Gaol before the Blood Moon, which occurs after the ROM, the Vacuous Spider boss fight. Many players get teleported here early in the game, and that happens when you get killed by one of the death dealers, which are these enemies carrying the big sacks between killing the blood-starved beast and killing Rom. After you kill Rom and you come back here normally through just normal exploration, the enemies in the area are completely different, higher level, all that sort of thing. But I figured I'd show you this pre-Blood Moon because many players get teleported here, realize even though the enemies do get harder after ROM, the area is still usually way harder than recommended for players that get teleported here. So many kind of just make it to the first lamp or to the boss fight in the area, die immediately, teleport back, never come back until you get here through normal gameplay. And actually right here, I'll show you. I'm not doing this live. I didn't know how long this would take, so I didn't know how big it was to explore. But right there is actually a person that if you talk to 3 times can be sent to either Yasofka's clinic or the Eden Chapel. If you send her to the Eden Chapel, she will periodically supply you with a vial of her blood, which is a healing item, similar to Yasofka's blood or Ariana's blood, which can be very helpful. And here I'm showing you the way towards, back where we just were is kind of where you start if you get teleported. Here is the area towards Parl, the Dark Beast. He's the boss in the area. The only one you can fight in the area now. There's another boss here later when you come back, but for now Parl is the only one you can fight, and generally when you get here, he's, again, way too strong for you. Most people die immediately or see him and book it. Most try to get to the one lamp in the middle area and teleport out. But as you can see here, the place is riddled with kind of your normal enemies. There's a couple witches. The death dealers are pretty much everywhere, which they're pretty much non-existent after you beat ROM. There might be 1 or 2, but I don't even think there are any. I just can't remember off the top of my head, but as you can see here, they're scattered throughout, and they're kind of the main enemy of the area. And they have a lot of health. They hit hard, very hard. They have that kind of aggressive aggro buff that they do once they're down to about 2/3 to a half bar of health, and they will mess you up. Another thing to note is I'm actually doing this on New Game Plus, second playthrough basically, on New Game Plus, because the first time I didn't realize the area would change. I did what many people do, is kind of see the area is really strong, leave, plan on coming back later, but by the time you come back through normal gameplay, like I said, all the enemies are changed, so I thought it'd be neat to really just see all the changes, see if there's any new items. There aren't any new items other than certain items enemies will drop. But all the item placements in the areas you can get to are the same. Back through this hole here is where Parl is. I'm not going to hop down just because you'd have to go fight him or teleport back to a lamp and do all that again. But that's how you get to Parl. You can fight him early if you feel up to it. He's not a terribly hard boss, but probably way higher level than you are. Here we are back at the main area right below the lamp, going the other direction now. More death dealers, more witches, but you can actually get out into kind of the main courtyard area, which you will visit frequently when you come back later. The area is normally polluted with those like skeleton slug enemies, but they're nowhere to be found, and in fact they're kind of replaced by man-eater boars. They're the giant pigs. They actually give a very good amount of experience for this area for the level that they are, so this could be potentially a pretty good farming spot if you've felt you've been over leveling throughout the rest of the game. Down here, there's some more dogs and another death dealer. And I believe this way leads back to the lamp. You can open up a shortcut early, which could help you later in the game. Most of the enemies can be avoided. Like, the death dealers are slow, the man-eater boars are relatively slow, but there are quite a few dogs in the area. They're obviously very fast and can catch up to you and stuff, but there are one or two shortcuts that can be opened up a little early to help you later in the game. You can get a pretty nice physical defense. In fact, one of the best physical defense armor sets in the game early, just by sprinting past if you're, feeling brave enough or lucky enough. Here you've got, like the same setup of items. Here's one of the doors I believe you can open early. Okay, that doesn't lead to the lamp, but that's back more towards kind of Parle, I believe. Here's the main courtyard area again. I believe there's two man-eater boars walking around. Yeah, there's one right there, but I go check back here. This way does lead back to the lamp. A useful shortcut to open now instead of later. The area actually has quite a few of these little, upgrade item, little skittering enemies. I'm not sure what they're called, but they always drop upgrade materials. There's quite a few of them in the area. I'm not killing a whole lot of them just because, again, it's New Game Plus, and I have mostly what I want upgraded as far as what's needed with these lesser upgrade materials. So head back out here. If you head up here, there's a couple more items to pick up. Nothing too big or amazing. In fact, nothing back here. There's one of the the boars trying to get me there. But they act just like the boars always do. Really, just don't get hit by them. They're slow. They can be easily staggered. So nothing really to worry about out of those enemies. Just kill them, get all the experience for it. It's pretty straightforward. That charge is really the biggest move you want to watch out. It hits hard, they move relatively fast, they cover a huge distance with it. He goes pretty much until he hits a wall and stops. All the enemies in the area don't really drop anything special. I think there's a slight chance for a death dealer or a man-eater boar to drop a blood gem, but it's not high. Here's the elevator that would take you back to the Hypogean Gaol main lamp at the beginning, the Unseen Village lamp, but that elevator is not able to be used at this point in the game. Here, there'd normally be a witch if you come back through normal gameplay, but there isn't here. This area specifically is loaded with dogs as well. We haven't seen too many here, but coming up at the two opposite ends of the area you can explore, there are a lot of dogs present. Kill this boar just like the rest, let it charge, let it miss. Just keep smacking it, let it stagger. There, as you can see, takes a lot of health away, so you really just want to avoid being hit. But their moves are pretty easily telegraphed. I thought I could get him to stagger before that happened. Didn't work, but I take care of him without too much problems. There's a good handful of bolt paper. Bolt and fire paper are always useful. Here, there's usually, if you come back here later in the game, there is a skeletal slug that'll hop out of there. That does not happen when you're here, so you don't have to worry about that. But here's all the dogs, or not all of them, but most of the dogs I was talking, and that one scared the shit out of me whenever I was recording this. I was trying to sneak up on the other one, that just comes out of nowhere. But here you just make quick work of them. The gun's pretty good against dogs. Generally faster attacks work. I'm using the Evelyn pistol +9 and the Ludwig's Holy Blade +10 right now. I have, I believe, the white church hood, the white church garb. I can't remember what my gloves are or my boots. But yeah, I like to have higher elemental and poison resistance than physical. That's just my personal preference, as pretty much, at least until way later in the game, every, level up you get some physical resistance in the first place, which is nice. So I figured just boost out my elemental resistance. Not very good frenzy resistance, but the few times that you run into frenzy in the game, you can boost that with some runes, and sedatives, of course. Down here is as far as you can go this way. In fact, this is as far as you can go even farther in the game, this direction. Normally there's a bunch of those skeletal slugs, but here there's just a couple dogs and a death dealer. Here, I try to take them out one at a time, make it easier. It's still, I'm going through it without too many problems, but just like most other areas in the game, if you're not careful, you can obviously be ambushed, be ganged up on, killed pretty quickly, especially by dogs. The dogs have some pretty vicious combos, especially when in pairs. There you can get a weapon early, the Tonitrus, which is kind of like an arcane mace staff sort of deal. I've never really used it, but if that's your thing, you can get it early there just by sprinting around if you don't feel you're tough enough. And down this direction is where you can get a full set of like iron armor with very high physical defense and pretty low other defenses. But if there's a specific boss that's just killing you with physical defense, get this early. Make it easier on yourself. And as you can see here, the gate across that little like half bridge is shut. Later in the game it's open, which means you cannot get to the second boss in the area through here. So this is really the last little area, and in fact I believe this was the last enemy. So you grab a bunch of Madman's Knowledge here. I believe that's there when you come back later, but that might be a bonus. But here's the armor, very high physical defense. There is one other item up those other stairs. See, the door's closed, can't do anything with it. But that brings us basically to the end of this. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, check out my other videos, and I will see you later.